The meeting has begun. Please turn off all cell phone, electronic devices during the board meeting. And regarding public input, the Tangipahoa Parish School Board welcomes comments from the citizens of Tangipahoa Parish, both for the purpose of evaluating the job that we're doing in educating our students and for the purpose of identifying problems and our inequities within the school system. Speakers may offer objective criticism of school board operations and programs, but the board will not hear complaints about individual school personnel or other persons at a public session. Other channels provide for board consideration of complaints involving individuals, and in particular, these concerns should be addressed through the grievance procedure for handling complaints. The board's grievance procedure provides a mechanism for which these matters can come before the board. If the grievance procedure did not resolve the concerns of the citizen, then we could do that. If you wish to speak in public input, please complete the public input form and present it to the board secretary prior to the beginning of the board meeting. Did we have any turned in yet? The public input requests will not be accepted after the meeting has begun. Thank you. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and also we have the national anthem, and Ms. Cotton is going to be doing the program. And Ms. Cotton, you're the AMEET band director, right, from AMEET High School. Well, I want to say this. When we went to the graduation, I had not heard her before, and when she got up and sang, I just couldn't believe it. It was the most powerful, powerful rendition of our national anthem, so we are excited to hear her tonight to perform. So, Ms. Cotton, would you come forth, please? Thank you. Stand, and also to render the proper salute all military personnel. Will you lead us to the pledge first?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mr. President, I'd like to make my comments now.
Go right ahead.
That was absolutely the best I've ever heard.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I mean, that was just so powerful. It blessed all of us. Thank you so much for coming and doing that. Anybody else? Good. After that prayer and that song, huh?
God bless America.
That's right. And, oh, that's great, man. Okay. All right. Next thing is a roll call by Ms. Jenkins.
Ms. Richards? Present. Mr. Toler?
Here.
Ms. Abrams?
Here.
Mr. Westmoreland? Mr. Duncan? Mr. Bush?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Ms. Simmons?
Here.
Mr. Mangus?
Present. All right. Now we want to consider approval of the Board of Minutes of May 7th, 2019. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Toler.
Second.
Second by Ms. Dominguez. Any objection? Passes. Second item, 2A, awards and recognitions. The first one is to recognize the President Student of the Month, and Ms. Abrams and I will come forth for that.
Good evening, everyone. Many years ago, there was a little blonde-headed girl who wanted to be a Laranja cheerleader. She came to cheer camp hosted by the Laranja High School cheerleaders. My daughter, Jenny, was a cheerleader at the time, and she took to my daughter right away. For many years, she sat in the stands cheering her favorite team, the Laranja Wolves, doing all the motions that the cheerleaders did on the sidelines, but sitting in the stands. Her 8th grade year, she was not only crowned homecoming queen, but she was also tried out for the Laranja High School cheerleaders, and she made the squad. The highlight of her being, I don't know if many of you know, I work for TARC, which is a nonprofit organization that serves children and adults with disabilities. Haley was went through our program, and she was one of our ambassadors back in the day when I started working at TARC. We just recently started a pageant for little girls with disabilities called Very Special Miss Louisiana. In 2016, Haley was actually one of our queens that was crowned. The highlight of her year was always being on the sidelines, but also going to Disney World for national competition. That was the highlight of her time. For those of you that don't know Haley, she's been an inspiration to many people at Laranja High School. Her time there at Laranja has come to an end, but her memories she made there will last a lifetime. Everyone at Laranja High School will miss her. All that have met her can truly say she has brightened their day along the way. I want you to watch this amazing video of this amazing young lady, Miss Haley Rose.
A story of trial and triumph strikes home for the Laranja cheerleading team.
Yeah, everything that she's going through has come out ahead. You know, so I've always said, you don't know what your plan is in life, but God does have a plan.
Haley Rose was born 6 weeks prematurely with Down syndrome and a life of uncertainty.
She sat up after her first birthday, never really crawled. She did not walk independently till she was 3.
From that point on in life, Haley Rose has blossomed while striving to conquer all odds.
So she stayed in dance for 8 years, and did very well, regular classes, kept up with the dances and stuff.
That's when Haley met cheerleading.
You just see that she loves cheerleading, and that's all she loves is just the fact that she can be a cheerleader on the sidelines. She helps you understand that it's not just about the routine and all that, it's about just the love of the sport.
We're just so blessed to have her on the team because she's got that positive vibe for us, and she just lifts our spirits up all the time.
For Haley, though, setbacks have always been a common theme.
I received a phone call that said not to panic, but to pack bags and plan on staying, that they saw something abnormal on her MRI, So we were transferred to Ochsner in New Orleans, and the stroke team doctors were waiting for us. They had determined that Haley had a stroke a month after her 16th birthday.
In true fashion, she was set on returning to her love.
And every time she talked to Maggie, or Maggie would come to the hospital, Miss Maggie, I can cheer.
As for her coaches, they have set the bar high for Haley.
You know, we expect her to come out here, stretch, do her jumps, her stunts, her routine, you know, and if she slacks, we make her get up and go out there and do it just like everyone else.
And for this homecoming queen, it's always been the little things.
So Haley, what do you like about cheerleading?
Disney World. Disney World.
Speaking of performing on the biggest stage, of course, for North Shore News, I'm Michael Vincino.
Good job.
When Laranja High School cheerleaders actually got to go to Disney World for a competition not long ago, she did not get to perform with them for their actual competition, but the national organization let them do a small routine where Haley was included. So she did get to perform on the big stage in Disney World. Haley's leaving Laranja because she's aged out to stay in high school. And parents of children with disabilities, they always wonder what the future is going to hold for their children. I can say, Stacy, you've done a great job. Our future is going to be great.
All right, Haley, this is your certificate of recognition, the Tangipahoa Parish School System awards the certificate to Haley Rose for being named the President's Student of the Month, signed by Miss Stilly and myself. And then also, too, you got the envelope, we have $20 and a little note, and Miss Robbins has a special gift.
There you go, sweet girl.
Okay, and here's,
And this is for
and I wrote you a personal note right there, okay. Wait, where's the one? It's right here, okay? All right, and Miss Steele, you want to come up for a picture? And before we do that, we'll recognize your family too. Would you stand up, everybody, there's the grandma, the mom, everybody. And your baby sister, all right. This is why we have President's Student of the Month, to have such rewarding receivers like we have tonight. And we thank the family for coming. In the back, we have the grandmother and some other part. You going to stand up, the family? Okay. All right. Anyway, we're so glad to present this award tonight to Haley. And thank you, Miss Abrams, for that. All right, the next item is recognize Miss Shelby Parnell of Sumner High School. Mr. Toller.
Yeah, we have a tradition of always recognizing our athletic programs and different things that we do during the year. We have a parade of champions. A lot of times, some of the theatrical stuff falls to the back, the arts. You know, we see tonight with the national anthem, I mean, it brought everybody in here just in a state of awe, you know, and that's what the arts do. We have a lot of students that participate in the arts, and a lot of times those recognitions kind of fall through the cracks. So that's why tonight I've asked Ms. Shelby Parnell if she would to come forward, and we'll come down and meet her. But I just want to tell you a little bit about why. Since ninth grade, Shelby has been involved in the Talented Theater program. She has qualified in oral interpretation for the state literary rally held every year at LSU by earning superior ratings at the regional Vonnie Borden Speech and Theater Festival at Southeastern. She's done this all 4 years in a row. She also participates, just because I know her real well, but she participates with the chorus. She's been here before, and she has sang the national anthem for us. She has sang at almost every event at Sumner that I can remember, her and Chelsea Kent and some other ones. But she's just a well-rounded student with the Civil Air Patrol, a couple other things that she's done. But with this, being that she's 4 years in a row competing at that level, I thought that was justified to come to the board to recognize her, to bring a little attention to our talented theater students and their accomplishments. So Shelby, I'm going to ask you to come forward. Miss Philly?
Yes.
Also, Mr. Charlie, do you want to say anything? Yes, sir.
I've been doing this 27 years, and in that 27 years, I've had 3 students in 27 years qualify for state literary rally all 4 years. So that's a very unique company to be one of 3 in 27 years. And not only that, Shelby's just been a mentor for the other kids. She always comes in energetic, ready to go. And I'd like to take credit for what she's done, but that ain't the case. Shelby's one of those students that you give her a sign and she goes home and comes back better. And I go, wow. So yeah, keep doing that, keep doing that. So she's accomplished a lot of this on her own, So great job.
And keep in mind, like Mr. Charles said, this is football, you know, they practice every day, every day, every day. This is 1 hour, 1 day, every week. So there's a lot that happens in that 1 hour. So a lot of the stuff is on your own. We appreciate that. Congratulations. Yeah. Come on up here. Good chair.
Thank you, Mr. Toller. The third item, recognize the recipient of the Enos Jake Bailey Jr. Above and Beyond Award. I'd like to call Mrs. Fusell up, and I'll meet you down there.
Do you want to explain it first?
The Enos F. Jake Bailey Award has been established by myself because when my late husband, Jake Bailey, was on the board for 28 years and he passed away in 2001, he had this award, and so I kept it going in his memory. And what we present it to people that go above and beyond their normal duties, not just teach or not just show up, but really, really teach and go and do things that are not expected, and they go beyond what the expectations are, whether it be bus drivers or custodians or teachers or principals or whoever. And it's a very exciting event because it gets to recognize people that really deserve to be recognized. And so Ms. Fusell will do this presentation.
I'd like to ask Ms. Carly Cooper and Principal Stuckey to come down with me. We have nominated a teacher tonight that we'd like to recognize, but I want to start by saying I love how Ms. Sandra always gives the background of this award because it's such a meaningful award, because we have many teachers at Tangipahoa Parish who are here tonight who go above and beyond every day for their students and their schools. But tonight we've nominated a teacher who has gone above and beyond for all 7 high schools in our district this school year. And because we knew that she would not come unless we lied to her, she doesn't know that she's here for this. So I'd like to ask Miss Leslie Bridges to come forward. She's fussing at the faculty, wondering if they knew, but I don't think they did either. But we put her family in the back to block her exit, just in case she made a run for it. So I just want to explain a little bit of what Ms. Bridges did this year so you can get the full scope of it. So tonight, our new vocational coordinator, Ms. Cooper, is going to talk about our vocational program. So we had a change this year. Because of the massive number of credentials coming out in certified nursing assistants, the state said, DHH said, we need a little bit more accountability to how these credentials are being awarded. So they started a national test where students had to go through a computer test, then they had to go through a skills test. But like many things, they don't live in the school system world. They live in bureaucracy and state rules, and so they said there shall be a test and you shall take it to get the certificate, and didn't think through where, how, the timing, graduation. So we're panicking, and this is another thing about Ms. Bridges. There are people you call and you say, I have a problem, and they say, oh, that is a problem. They empathize, they feel bad for me. Then there are people you call, like Leslie Bridges, and you say, I have a problem, and she says, well, we could do this, and we could do this, and before you can finish the phone call, she's taken over all the tasks that you needed done. She's like, I could do this, I could do this. And this is what Ms. Bridges did this year for all high schools. So when I said, Ms. Bridges, we have a problem, we can't test CNA students, she said, well, I've already done this for my students. Tell me everybody else I can contact. She arranged buses, and I'm gonna let Ms. Cooper talk about the lab. She set up a testing lab. And then the last thing I'll say before her principal and Ms. Cooper speaks about hers, Ms. Bridges and I go way back. We're not gonna talk about how long we go back, but we go back to when we were in school together. And that has been her personality from when she was a high school student, up here in school, through all of her tenure as a teacher, and I was blessed to serve as her principal. You can ask Ms. Bridges to do anything, which is a bonus, and it's a negative, because she sometimes needs to learn the word no. She coached a new softball team this year. She is a dance sponsor. She is the testing coordinator queen, and that's just 3 of the things I could think of. So before these two speak, I would like to ask her family just to kind of wave, because everything she does at the school, that's time away from family. And then her school family's here. I'd ask them to stand, because they also know and can attest to Ms. Bridges and all that she does. So Sumner High family, y'all wave. There you go. And Coach Stuckey, and then Ms. Cooper, if y'all will share some about Ms. Bridges.
She's a lot like the lady that just spoke, that is good at taking on too much. But anytime I have a problem and can't figure out an answer, I can go to her. And when the dance sponsor thing, I'll do that. So she's very quick to volunteer and has too much on her plate. It's all overflowing, but I'll let Ms. Cooper tell you some more.
It's really nice when somebody calls you and says there's a problem, but she's already got Mr. Plaisance in the car with her. He's already put up a different shower curtain rod. And it's fixed. Yeah, privacy curtain. I'm sorry. Privacy curtain. It's a privacy curtain. But what we had wasn't right, but she had it fixed before we ever knew there was a problem. And Mr. Plaisance, you can take some kudos for that too. And for years, we've joked that we're going to make her chief testing officer. So I think we need a new designation at the schools, chief testing officer, because she does do all of our testing and she keeps everybody straight, and we love you. And she's always, if there's a a benevolence need in the school. She's always the one that says, okay, here's what's going on. Let's everybody contribute. So she just keeps us all straight, and we appreciate it. And me and Ms. Vassell.
Good evening. My name is Chastity Collier. I'm the principal at Independence High Magnet School, and my school was one of the schools who benefited from the time that Ms. Leslie Bridges put into scheduling, and it's not as simple as just pressing a button and calling someone and making an appointment. It was much more difficult than that, and so I want to thank you, Ms. Bridges, on behalf of Independence High and my CNA students who benefited from all the time and effort you put in, because we went back and forth with emails, and again, I just can't thank you enough, because you saved us a world of headache in the middle of graduation and such. And so this is a little something from both me on behalf of Independence High and Coach Stuckey on behalf of Sumner High. Thank
you. Thank y'all. I don't really know what to say. I wasn't planning on being up here. But thank you to my family. They do put up with a lot, sometimes venting, sometimes me not being home to cook supper or whatever it may be. And thank you for my mama for always picking up my slack on that one. I don't know what to say. I work with a great faculty, a great staff. They keep me going. Y'all do. I think we keep each other going most days. And I thank y'all, because y'all are my support team, just like I'm yours. So thank y'all. And this lady right here, I don't know if she remembers or not, but she was my student teacher professor at Southeastern.
I don't remember. It's too long.
She taught me methods for 2 semesters.
That must be why you're so good.
That must be it. That's what I was going to say. I must have learned it all from you.
Thank you. All right, we want to present the certificate of recognition for the UNICEF Jake Bailey Above and Beyond Award, and also a gift certificate to Mike's Catfish here in a meet. And Ms. Steele will come up. We'll do a picture. Okay. Will you surprise?
Two real quick things I want to add is, not only does she, I'm going to say something, but not only does she do this at our school, but she also does this at our church with our church family. She volunteers for everything in the world you can imagine. The second thing I wanted to comment is, y'all did hear Ms. Vassell say that everything she does is a result of her husband, Jeremy Bridges, back there. So I wanted to give Jeremy a shout out. Congratulations, Jeremy. You did good.
Right. All right. Funny. Next item, 2D, recognize community partner Michelle Gallo, Daily Star. Miss Stilley.
We wanted to invite Michelle Gallo tonight to our meeting with the Hammond Daily Star. And particularly, they're always a partner for us in our school system. But during a Teacher Appreciation Week, the Hammond Star did a lot of extra work to support teachers, just made them feel loved. And so I wanted Michelle to come tonight and talk a little bit about some of the things that they did at the Hammond Star and how much we appreciate them showcasing our teachers across the parish.
Sure. Thank you, Melissa. I want to credit Teacher Appreciation Week entirely to my staff. We were sitting around having a discussion, and I said, hey, we need to do something for Teacher Appreciation Week. Now we're in the middle of Restaurant Guide, Summer Fun Guide, and we just finished Home and Garden, and I really expected all of them to throw newspapers at me, but they didn't. Lil huddled her reporters over Lauren's one of them. And she cut up the parish and she said, you've got this area and you've got this area. And they each had a task. My sales team jumped in. They called community leaders. They called Rose. They called businesses, and they asked for messages of appreciation for our teachers. And then my administrative staff got on the phone. They called Office Depot and this person and that person and got all of these supplies and food donated. So the week of Teacher Appreciation Week, we had a story about teachers. Lauren, I think you did something on the Hammond teachers. We had messages from businesses and individuals showing their appreciation for the teachers. And we delivered goodie boxes and supplies to not all, but a majority of the teacher lounges during the week. So it was a fun week. My team just threw it all together. We had about 3 weeks of planning, and it was amazing. And it's on our calendar for next year, and we hope to do a bigger and better job.
It's great.
Well, we thank you and your teams. Please let them know that. Thank you.
Thank you. Academic update, 3A, update on career and tech education. Ms. Cooper.
There we go. All things Jumpstart, the career and technical education, and do I forward? Okay. Our juniors and seniors this year, our complimentary certifications are listed there at $1,887. For our seniors at $2,082, and the total is $3,969. And then now with Jumpstart 2.0, we're focusing more on our statewide certifications. So we're just getting started with all of those at the school. With our juniors, we had 188. With our seniors, we had 446 for a total of 634. And school's not over yet, so we may have a few more before it's over. Through what we've been doing, we've already talked about the nursing assistant there at Kentwood High, but also their woodworking department over there. That's just a really nice plaque that they made. Ms. Vassell had asked me to take pictures when I go around and to try to highlight some of the good things going on in our parish. And at Sumner High, of course, we're doing certifications there. The guy that you see hanging it, he's like 6'2", and he said, Ms. Cooper, when are you putting my certificate on the wall? So the next day, we printed all the certificates. I got out the tape, and the kids hung their certificates on the wall. And there is a technology guru there, Mr. Chris Coster, who's a graduate of Sumner High, that's now working at Go Jobs, and that's something else that our CTE students participated in. Actually, all of our juniors and seniors were able to go to the job fair if they chose. And this is at Amite High. They were real complimentary of the work that's been done through maintenance at Amite High. You see there some cable that they've run overhead, you know, so that students are not tripping over it. So our Perkins people were really excited about that. And Amite High also had a job fair of their own with many businesses there. And one of those is Turner Industries, and they hire some of our graduates from our shop programs. And then at Independence High, one of the things we did was talk with counselors. So the counselor had her seniors listed there, and of course I blocked out the names, but she had a checkoff list. And I can assure you, if that 6'2" guy wanted his on the wall, I'm sure they're looking for their sticker when they come to her office. So she keeps a sticker and, lets them know how they're doing. And Mr. Feckety also does strawberries, and he had the kindergarten students from Independence come over and pick strawberries, and I didn't put the picture in of them sitting at the tables, but the picnic tables his carpentry program made. So I have another picture of the kids sitting down at the table, and that's neat. At Laranja High, again, Southland Steel is hiring our workers as soon as we get them trained, between them and Turner. And there are several others that come to us and need trained welders. Also, we did with the Southern Region Education Board. You see some teachers working on some professional development. Those are from Hammond High and from Laranja High. And then at Hammond High, our Pro Start is one of our star programs over there. And then also Ms. Phyllis Harris does her micro enterprise testing, and she makes them all dress up, and they do interview skills. At Ponchatoula High, we have Mr. Stephen Kozad there. He is doing freedompens.org. The students can make their own pen, and in order for them to make their own pen, they have to agree to send one to freedompens.org, where they send those to the troops overseas. And he does some amazing work in his shop. He's actually letting the students pick what they want to do, and he's helping them do whatever it is they've picked. And this is another improvement to one of our shops. We moved some tables that were bolted down outside to give him more room inside. And our FCS crew from Sumner, all of our clubs go and do some community service work. I believe there they had a parade, a Mardi Gras parade for their residents. And we have a great partner in North Shore. We're working with the Greensburg campus, and we're working with the Hammond campus to provide our CNA, and they are doing HVAC and some of the other programs. So we have a great partner there. Our Jumpstart Summers, we were asked to focus on statewide certifications, so we have 8 programs that we're hoping to run this summer. We're working hard to fill all those spots, and our medical assistant has already started, and they are learning to read an EKG there. And we're now on social media, again at Ms. Vassell's request. And on Facebook, we're CTE and TPSS. And then on Instagram, we put the underscore in there, CTE_TPSS. And on Twitter, we're the same thing, CTE_TPSS. So look us up and stay in touch.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much for that report. Consider committee reports. 4A, Capital Outlay Committee of the Whole, May 7th, 2019. Mr. Toller, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Richards. And any objection? Passes. B, Finance Committee, May 7th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion by Mr. Mingus. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Moore. Any objection? Motion passes. Number 5, Superintendent's reports and/or recommendations. Number 1, A, update on the graduation rate release.
Yes. Ms. Jenkins, there are 2 slides that I want to cover, the first 2 slides. You're going to pull it up?
It was too fast.
Oh.
I know. Sorry.
And for our board members, you have a full handout, but we're going to pull up the 2 slides that I'll be reviewing real quick. Okay, let's go ahead and get on to slide 3, Cindy. Slide 3. I'm just going to cover the two slides tonight, 3 and 4. Yeah, that's it. So the senior class of 2018 posted a record 76, you'll see it there, 76.2% in their graduation rate, making it the parish's best graduation rate, thank you, in more than a decade. And prior to this, the parish's highest graduation rate was 74%, which was in 2014. So you can see that this is where we are, this year, and then 74 back in 2014, 15 was the highest. If you look, and even though we have, in a period of time, we have almost 7 percentage point change in an increase in our graduation rates, you can still see that we're lagging behind the state pace of increasing in graduation rates, which is 16.6%. You see the state average at the top, and then you'll see Tangipahoa. So this is sort of looking at the trend data over a period of multiple years. If we go to the next slide, this has by school. And so you'll see here that from Kentwood to Ponchatoula, the latest report shows that parish-wide, there's an increase of more than 5 points to our year-to-year graduation rate. And every single high school in Tangipahoa Parish moved their baseline a little bit closer to improving the goal of providing all students with that high school diploma in a 4-year window. You'll see here that in each of our high schools, some of the numbers would be at Hammond High Magnet posted the largest gain with 11 points over the previous year's data. Kentwood High raised their graduation rate by 8.6%. Jules Sumner High School raised its graduation rate by 6.5%. Amede High Magnet and Laranja High each posted 5.5 percentage gains, while Ponchatoula saw its graduation rate another year 2%. Independence High Magnet increased 0.9% over the same of the previous year. So we want to just kudos to our high school, and while it is a lot of success and hard work of our teachers and our counselors and our staff at the high school, we do have to continually work and push. Some of the things that we have done over the past few years that have resulted in these gains is that, one, we do credits, Carnegie credits for our junior high students. So many times our junior high students may have 2 to 3 Carnegie credits before they enter high school. In addition to that, we offer credit recovery at the high school for students who fail classes. They can retake their class either face-to-face or through credit recovery. We also have contracted with career compass counselors with using our federal funds to provide additional counselors to assist our high school counselors in providing support to our students. So those are just some of the strategies that we've used, and of course we will continue to work with our high school teams, our counselors, our teachers, our administrators to look for ways to get to the state pace in terms of overall increases for our next year. So we wanted to present that. In your handout, it gets into more subgroup information and more details. But for tonight, we wanted to just provide y'all with that high-level look of the district overall, good news, and then each high school overall, great news. So that's the update on that.
I have a question. When my son graduated this year, so he's one of those people who entered as a freshman 4 years ago. Say his class, I'm gonna break it down to be real simple. Say his class was 10 students when he was a freshman, and only 6 of them finished, which would be a 60% graduation rate. Those other 4 could have moved, transferred, dropped out of school, their parents changed jobs and they moved. What other criteria might happen to those 10 students when he was a freshman that entered and only 8 of them graduated? So you hear what I'm asking?
Yes. So what they do is they look at those students as they enter ninth and how many of those exact students exit. So it could be because they moved.
Yes.
Not necessarily that they dropped out of school, but they're not with that cohort.
Gotcha.
Is my understanding. Lisa?
Simple as that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Same student.
So that's the data, cleaning up the data is very important because if you don't track where they went, they may not be marked
Okay, so if their parents did transfer to X state, that's a legitimate mover, and it wouldn't be counted against our graduation rate?
Correct, as long as we have the documentation to support that, because they audit us. So anytime we put somebody who's moved out of state, the state will say, where's your proof? So we have to have a record, a request of their records, something showing they've enrolled out of state, and then they're marked a legitimate leaver, they don't carry.
One last question, then, what would it be if 10 entered and only 8 graduated? Those 2 that are not counted as against our school system, they just quit school altogether?
If we have no record of them going anywhere else, then they would count.
Okay.
But to use your example, if we had 10 that started and 8 finished and 2 were legitimate leavers, we would still be 100%.
Okay, thank you very much.
Or end of course problem, a test or something, right? If they didn't graduate,
Right.
that would count against us.
Say that again, Tom?
Like the end of course, like for your math or your
Right.
English or whatever, if you didn't pass your end of year and they were not able to graduate.
Well, we do have a deadline, so if they retest in the summer and they pass it before October 1st, then we still get credit for them in our cohort.
Okay.
And then if you graduate 5 years instead of 4, we get 75 points.
Okay.
So we still get some accountability points.
Can I go to the next one, since you mentioned cohort and Tom mentioned in this course class? Here's a chart that I don't think.
Yeah, credentials.
Can you pull that one up? Because this is a very interesting one too, I'd like to talk about just for a second.
Yeah, Randy, before you get to that, I would also like to mention that we had some students who graduated early. There was some 3-year graduates. So that would be a factor as well.
Yes, sir. If you graduate in 3 years, they still count you in the cohort you would have exited with.
Okay.
So that's why keeping track of our data is very important.
Oh,
So
got it.
if you're a
Look.
fifth-year graduate, you don't count on the graduation rate, but we still get accountability points. If you're an early graduate, then you count in the cohort you would have exited with.
The chart that I'm seeing now for 2018, earning diploma with no basic or advanced credentials. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to make sure. That is on the end of the course test, or?
Yes, sir. That is, you know how Ms. Cooper showed the slide of complimentary credentials?
Mr.
Exactly.
Sell, could we get you to come to the mic? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We need it on the record.
Sorry
about that.
My teacher voice just carrying on. No, sir, it's credentials. So that slide Ms. Cooper put up where we had like 3,669 complimentary credentials, this is the industry-based credentials. So we have that many seniors leaving, but the only ones that count in the advanced are the statewide basic and advanced.
So this is not an academic ELA math.
No, sir. No, sir. It's the industry-based credentials, and we get accountability points for those now, which is still, this is only the second year that we've had those points. So that's why you're going to start to see those numbers shift as now schools get points. We're offering more credentials,
That's
and
what I
that's going
thought.
to
I just
shift.
want to double check.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Anybody else? Okay.
Good information.
Thank you.
You also have a handout on the credentials and how they're coded. So if you see advanced credentials, you'll see what courses are considered advanced.
I do have one more question. We'll be retaking these tests. So some of our students are still in school. They didn't pass in the course test. And when is that test coming up again, you think?
In June, the third week in June, and we start leak remediation for that. Now, talking about our high school students, we really encourage them to come, so any help, anybody in your community who mentions it, they need to take every opportunity to take that LEAP 2025, because in high school, you're finished taking your exit exams at the end of your 10th grade year. So you have every summer, December, and spring after your 10th grade year, those are all opportunities to pass the test to graduate on time. And we did that because it was a state recommendation, but also because we know to keep that graduation rate, we need to give them many, many
Are we talking about a
opportunities.
lot of students, you think?
No, sir, really, we're not.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot that need to retest who are still 9th and 10th graders, but our seniors, I told the counselors this today, I normally get 4 or 5 phone calls each year about, I didn't realize. This year, I had 2 phone calls. They were both aware. Their students just worked and just couldn't get it. And we are switching our strategy this summer where we are going back to I call it the old school books, the ABC books, but we're leaving the computer and we're going back to the old school books to tutor our students before they retest.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I have a question. So if you have a student in the high school, say 9th or 10th grade, and they didn't pass the end of course test, so they will go to like summer school in June?
We will strongly encourage them to go to summer remediation, and then even if they don't attend remediation, we will harass them to come take the test again. So either or, we want you to come to remediation, but anybody can retest whether you come to remediation or not.
And what happens if they come and they don't pass it for the next year?
Then they'll take it again in December, they'll take it again in the spring.
Will they take the whole course again in the fall?
Oh, no, ma'am. If
Okay.
you pass the course but fail the test,
Yeah.
you only retake the test.
Okay, thank you.
And remediation sites are at every high school?
Every high school has a remediation site, yes, sir.
All right. Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Fastel.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Miss Still, are you still reporting?
No.
You done?
The next one,
You ready for?
Principal Academies.
Okay. All right, the update on the summer principal academies?
Yes. So just quickly to update the board and the public, traditionally, we've held principal meetings at the end of July, usually I think the last week of July, where principals come in for 2 days. We bombard them with a lot of information. Then they go back to their schools, and many times their teachers are showing up, and they don't, many times, really don't have enough time to digest the information and apply it and think about what they're going to do at their school. So this year, in June, kicking off on June the 3rd, we're going to offer principal academies, like different workshops for principals at different times through the month of June. There'll be some that are mandatory. There'll be some that they can select an option that maybe fits their grade band. And that way they can have their professional development at different times during the month of June, and have July and early August to actually implement some of those ideas within their school. We feel like they'll be less rushed and can actually have time to think about and put those things in place in their school. So we'll keep you posted on that. And that kind of feeds into our next topic, which is
Update on the school system's professional development board.
Yes, I wanted to update the board in particular that we, on our website, Cindy, can you just show us the website? Is it? Yeah, there we go. If you go to our website, there's a PD calendar you'll see on the left-hand side. If you click on that particular calendar, it will bring you to the page that Ms. Jenkins has up. And this is our, we put all of our professional development in this portal. So anytime as a board member, if you want to know, say for instance, you may get a question about particular, professional development that has been provided, or what's going on today, is there a meeting of teachers, or bus drivers or whatever, you can go into this portal. There's a calendar so you can see what's offered every day. It's stored. We have all of the 18-19 school year in. It's put in prior to the meetings, and then also we store it. So it's always there, or at least for several years. And now we're beginning to put in for the 19-20 school year. So if you look, for instance, in the month of June, you'll see the different workshops that we're offering for principals. You'll also look during the school year, you'll see a lot of PD on the support for teachers with math and ELA. You'll see bus driver trainings, a lot of different trainings. If you click on it, it'll give you more information. Cindy, if you go to the meetings right here on the left-hand side, it will actually give you a meeting title of all the things we've offered this year. And you can click on those and find out more information. That's just another way to look up information. Also, Cindy, on the left-hand side up, if you click on classes, it sort of groups them by different titles so that you can go in and look at different big titles and find out what a big picture view of different things that were offered. So I wanted to just, I don't think I've actually showed the board this yet, and I just wanted to make sure that, especially our new board members may not be aware, that we do have this portal. Anyone can access it. You can see anything that's going on in terms of professional development across our district. We call it our district PD calendar. And so you can see things that are being offered, and I just wanted to update the board on this.
Next item. All right, general updates.
Yes, so tomorrow is the last day of school for students. Yay. Teachers will finish up school, the school year on Thursday, and we would like to thank our employees, both our teachers and our support workers, support staff, for all the work that they do every day for our students, which our students our future. And we wish our employees and our students a safe and restful summer. Take time to recharge and spend as much time as you can with your family and your loved ones. We would like to remind the public that the central office, NA-MEET, and all the satellite offices will work a 4-day week during the summer. We are closed Monday, this coming Monday, for Memorial Day, and we will work a 4-day week that week, Tuesday through Friday. Then starting on June the 3rd, we will work the 4-day week, longer hours from 7 to 4:30 during the week, and closed on Friday, just only for the summertime. So I just wanted to make that announcement for the public.
All right. Other board actions, 6A, consider approval of the recommendation for the student information system. Ms. Stilley.
Yes, I'd like for Mr. Jenko to come up and update us on the committee, the RFP process, and the committee recommendations, as well as the district team.
Good evening, Ms. Stilley, Ms. Simmons, and the board and audience. Good afternoon. We put out a request for a proposal for our student information system that ran from April the 11th to May 13th. We had 3 companies that responded to the RFP. All 3 companies met the qualifications that we put forth in there. On May 16th and 17th, this past week, each company presented to a committee, our SIS committee. That committee was made up of counselors, administrators, school secretaries, individuals that work with registration, teachers, and some of our technology team. After the presentations, each committee member did their survey, submitted it to us. We reviewed the survey, and literally they were pretty much split 50-50. We invited over 30 individuals to be on the committee. Approximately 20 showed up for the presentations. They were split 50-50. Administration got together. We talked back and forth. We reviewed the pros and cons of each of the companies. And with that, the administration would recommend for the board's approval to go with OnCourse as our student information system for the 19-20 school year.
Any questions, discussion?
Do you need a motion for that?
We need a motion to approve it, right?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking. Do you need a
You
motion?
said
Yes,
consider
ma'am.
approval. We
do
need a motion. Do
with
I hear a
board
motion?
approval to move forward.
You're saying you do need a motion?
Yeah, he
Yes,
said we
ma'am.
do
Okay, I'll
need
make
a
a
motion.
motion to
Yes.
accept the superintendent's recommendation.
For student information system. All right, do I have a second?
Second, I'd like to ask Ms. Dillard too, just to kind of reiterate what are some of the reasons for the choices that we're making. But I will second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any objection? Motion passes. Discussion.
We got, point of order.
Uh-huh.
Before we do the vote, I was asking Ms. Dillard if she would, just to reiterate why we're making
Okay.
it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we met as a leadership team and reviewed the committee feedback and really looked at the pros and cons. And so one of the things that we considered is, one of the challenges we think is particularly we need to do some more training with we identified some hot spots, like for instance, secretaries and high school counselors. Generally, our teachers love OnCourse. They love all the different features that they have. They have the lesson plan format, which they love. Lots of positive feedback on that. And so we looked at also the cost. The OnCourse system offers a more comprehensive set of tools for our educators and for our school system, and looking at the cost in that as well. And then we feel like we can address the deficits that we had by targeting specific groups in our parish that had some difficulty in this year with OnCourse. So that would be our secretaries and our high school counselors. And another thing is that OnCourse has done a lot of work with us this year in trying to refine and make better their reporting systems, which really was some of the issues as secretaries or counselors knowing how to access particular reports in the system, which kind of goes back to training. So we feel like that can be addressed this year in those terms. And then also, unless there was this real huge deal breaker of why we should switch, we didn't feel like that it was wise of us to switch after we've invested this whole year and actually a planning year before that with a new system until we have ensured that we have done everything that we can to make this totally successful and meet our needs. So we will reevaluate at the end of this year. We will seek input from our teachers, counselors, secretaries, administrators, see how this year 2 went, and then we will assess from there.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Mr. Jenko, when I'm going to vote no, by the way, because the feedback that I got from my teachers and my counselors, they do not like on-course. So, but I want to ask this about you. You said there was 20 people in attendance in that committee?
Correct.
And they voted, and it was like 10 to go with it and 10 not to?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need to,
Yes,
thanks.
sir.
But I would like to say I'm trusting what Ms. Silly said, and I'd like to come back next year and vote yes. Let's keep it going because right now I still feel like it's not a good deal. But Ms. Silly, I'm hoping it works out what you just said and I'm pulling
too.
for our counselors.
Yeah.
All right, somebody?
Yeah, I would like to say that as well. I've had quite a few teachers and counselors tell me that they did not like this on-course, so I would want to vote against it as well, but I'm hoping that it will move forward. But for the people that have talked to me, they did not like on-course.
Any other comments?
I would kind of say the same. I've had a few that didn't like it, but I've had just as many say they like it, especially the lower elementary teachers. The high school, I think it proved a little more difficult.
Yes.
But I would like to, I'm guessing this is appropriate. I'd like to acknowledge, I know we have some other guys that bid in the back, because I know them from State School Board, from WebPAMS, right? From WebPAMS were here. I appreciate y'all taking interest in wanting to be a part of us, and as she said, we'll revisit, and we hope to continue that partnership, with y'all maybe in the future. We do appreciate y'all taking an interest in bidding on this for us.
Okay, so at this point, we need a roll call vote then on the motion to accept on-course.
Yes.
Yes.
No?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right,
Thank you, Mr.
thank
Jenko.
you. Any more updates, Ms. Stilley?
No, that's enough. That's it.
Okay, personal privilege, right?
Yep.
Ms. Dominguez?
Just like to start out by saying I've been enjoying going to all of the graduations and the different activities I've been able to go to. Teachers and staff put in a lot of work to these award programs, and our students work hard all year, and I appreciate them wanting to recognize our students. I've really enjoyed it. We've had a few challenges this year. I think we're wrapping up Ms. Stilley's first year. Appreciate your hard work and the things that you were able to accomplish, and we're hoping to improve on some of the issues and, of course, move forward and continue to get better. So wishing everybody a great summer.
Good. All right, Mr. Moore?
Okay, I'll keep my comments short. They're pretty much, I've seen the improvements this year, and I see the progress that's been made, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming year. I think that Ms. Stilley's been doing a great job, and I think everybody should look forward to us making improvements next year. I think that this year has just been a launching pad for a new start.
Mr. Bush?
To all of our employees, have a great summer. You've earned it.
All right, Ms. Abrams?
We'd just like to wish everyone a safe summer. If you're traveling out of our parish, make sure you're careful. But as the words of our Lieutenant Governor, take a staycation. Stay right here in Louisiana and enjoy what we have to offer here in Louisiana.
Like the camp on Tickfaw River?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, Ms. Richards?
I'd just like to say, too, I've enjoyed going to several of the graduations, and I want to say congratulations to all of the graduates. Also, I was looking forward to school being out and a break in the summer until I talked to Mr. Jenko, and then he gave me my summer schedule of what I should be looking forward to. So, but we just want you to know that we are here for you and that we will work tirelessly through the summer to make the upcoming school year better.
Mr. Toller? Ms. Stillian, I too want to say that I think I made all the graduations but one, and I was impressed with the way the principals and the administrators and the staff and all ran these graduations. That's a terrible, terrible lot of work, and but it was an honor to be there, and also too, so many of the students that got up and spoke or those that sang. It was just it made the graduations very, very meaningful. And I, too, congratulate all of them. But I have to brag just a little bit now. At the college graduation at Southeastern, my heart really swelled with pride when I had a granddaughter and a granddaughter-in-law graduate magna cum laude. I had to ask what that was. I'm teasing. I didn't know if that was the highest or not, but it must be. But anyway, I was proud of that. But mainly, too, one of them that graduated sang the national anthem at the graduation, and I just absolutely, my heart definitely swelled with pride when she sang that. She has sung here, and she'll be back, too. And I just wanted to add that. Anybody else? All right, executive session. We have one. Mr. Moody, is he here? Okay, well, we had one, I don't know. Oh, he's here. Okay, consider the restitution waiver request of Tommy K.O. Moody Law Firm. Do I hear a motion to go to executive session?
I make a motion to go into executive session for the case of, the restitution.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, any objection? All right, we'll go.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
Do I hear a recommendation from a board member?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we accept our council's recommendation in the restitution waiver request from Tommy K.O.
All right, anybody second that? All right, Mr. Moore? Passes, no objection. Meeting just is over.
No, you didn't have any no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, personal privilege. You didn't have any more,
No,
did you?
no yellow sheets. You didn't have any yellow.
No, I don't have that. Okay, we're good. Meeting adjourned.